really what's wrong with us isn't so much what we do. What's wrong with us is what's inside us, who we are.
Hmm.
Um, so that's how Christ finds us. But he doesn't leave us that way, of course. The whole purpose of his life was to live that guilt-free life, that shame-free life, that perfect righteous life, in order that he can take our guilt life, our shame life, and our grossly imperfect life, and have this exchange where he takes away all our bad, and then he gives us all this good. So the first thing that he does, if you want to think of this in kind of a temporal sequence or logical sequence, is he takes all the things that are wrong with us and he removes them. And then he replaces them in this happy or blessed exchange with everything that he is. So Paul will even
Hmm.
go so far in Galatians as to say that Christ became a curse for us in order that
Yes.
we might be blessed. Or as he tells the church in Corinth, that Christ, who didn't have any sin, he became sin so that in him we might become the righteousness of God. So I don't have to ask myself, am I right with God? Is there something else I need to do for God to get right with him? I'm already right with God in Jesus Christ. And so I can keep my focus not upon, trying to do lots of good things to make God happy and maybe atone for my own sin, all that kind of stuff. That's taken care of by Jesus. So I'm now free. What am I free to do? I'm free to love and serve the people who are around me.
Could you just amplify that a little bit? Because in my life, I felt like I didn't have the power to do what I knew I needed to do
Mm.
until I discovered this relationship, this union with Christ, and the indwelling and the infilling of the Holy Spirit. So if you'd like to touch on that, I think that would be very helpful.
Yeah, one of the first things that we encounter in the Old Testament about the Spirit is that he empowers. I mean, a lot of people will say, well, the Holy Spirit's not really that present in the Old Testament. Actually, he is. He's all over the place. One of the things he
Hmm.
does is he comes upon people. I'm thinking like of the judges, so that he might empower or enable them faithfully to carry out the task that God has given to them. Well, that hasn't changed. What happens now is that when we are united to Christ, actually the Spirit brings us to Christ. He calls us by the gospel. He brings us to Jesus. We're united to Christ. We are co-crucified, co-buried, and co-resurrected with Christ through the work of the Spirit. And the Spirit then takes up residence within us.